Peace and blessings, man. This your girl, the one and only, Jami B from Jami B and Friends podcast. Today we at Still the Stage, presented to you by Straight Out the Trunk Radio, presented to you by Clap It Up Los Angeles, presented to you by BTW Entertainment, man. We got a special guest in the building. Tell us your name, where you from, and what you represent.
Absolutely. You want me to hold it? My name is King Q, born and raised in LA, and I represent the one and only. You do know this. I say this all the time. The number one podcast in all of Los Angeles. That is the Unselfish Behavior Podcast. Make sure y'all tap in. You understand?
Tap in. What made you name your podcast the Unselfish Podcast?
So what inspired the name Unselfish Behavior Podcast was this idea that I have in my mind that says God gave everybody down here a gift. And if we choose not to share it, knowing we got a gift, we're unselfish. So for the podcast, for the platform, we like to represent the aspect of being unselfish with our gifts, meaning the guests that I have on, we're learning game, we learned about your journey, we learned about the ups, the downs, the trauma, all of it, your perspectives on life, because all of it is meant to be and designed to be unselfish. So that's the idea of Unselfish Behavior Podcast.
So when can I get on your podcast? I want to get on and tell my ups and downs and I want to tell everything, man. Let me get on, man. Yeah, I appreciate you.
We're going to tap in.
So I think I know what team you are. I think you clap it up. I think you.
Shout out my main man, Jay Brock. Jay Brock, I'm proud of you, boy. Keep doing what you're doing. It's only the beginning. Sky's the limit. Yes, I am.
I love him, man. Besides clap it up, who would you go for?
You said who would I vote for?
Who else would you go for besides Clap It Up Los Angeles? BTW,
whoever's in the building, really. When I come out to networking events specifically, I support everybody in the building. That's my shade. And that's no shade to nobody. But I support my own. So whoever look like me, they got King Q's full support, and guess what? If you don't look like me, you still get my support. So it's a double whammy. You have to understand.
Yes. So what made you just wake up and say, I want to do a podcast? And did you ever say, man, it's too much doing a podcast, I give up?
Wow. Great question. The first piece of the question was the way that I got inspired to do a podcast was by my old business partner. He went by the name of B Visuals. Shout out to B Visuals. But he helped me kick off the podcast idea just by us having a business meeting at Starbucks and over there by USC. I think it's on Figueroa, actually. Yeah. It's over there by USC. And one day we just chilling, chopping it up, having our monthly brother business meetings. And he looks at me and he's like, yo, Q, you should start a podcast, bro. I never even heard I don't know nothing about that. I thought it was radio. So I'm like, what you mean do a podcast? He's like, bro, like you're a great conversationalist. You have so many different perspectives that the world can learn from. And it's like, bro, you built for a podcast. And he's like, I'll shoot it. He's a videographer and photographer, real estate photographer, videographer. So he has great quality shit. I've been knowing him since I was 17 years old in 11th grade. And so he provided the studio, the audio equipment, he filmed it, he edited it, and he posted it to all the platforms. My only job was to show up and conduct the interviews. So he made it easy for me. And then the second piece of your question was what? I'm sorry. I know I rambled a little long. How did I start the podcast? And then it was something else.
Did you ever say like you wanted to give up?
Yes, absolutely. So I started my podcast in 2019. The pandemic, hold on now. The pandemic hit in 2020. And in 2020, everything shut down, if we all remember. You couldn't go outside. Nobody wanted to be within 6 feet of each other. Stay-at-home orders every other month. It shut down the entire world. So the podcasting aspect of interviews was like, bro, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we can't even shoot if we wanted to. You understand what I'm saying? So for me, it slowed things down, and I saw a lot of people on social media going live and conducting their interviews and doing it on IG. It's not really. It's not my style. I need to connect with you in person and just feel your vibration. You know, so for me, I wasn't feeling that. So I just took a break. I took a break from it all. And during that break and the duration of that break, Absolutely. Countless thoughts of wanting to quit and give up. Why? Because you're talking about a 2-year span of not doing something you was once passionate about. And it's very hard to pick up a flame that's been deadened, whether it was by society, whether it was by a relationship, whether it was by some type of traumatic experience, whatever it is, it's hard to get a flame back going once it's out. So my flame was out by the time 2022 hit, 2023 hit. I hit a major depression in my life. One of the darkest times in my life, went through that. And then earlier last year, I just started to feel that itch again. I started to just wanting to get back being in front of the people and providing, and providing spaces and platforms to where people can have a safe space to share perspectives and learn from each other, especially ones in my community. So, that's a little bit about how I started and, you know what I mean? Whatever else you ask, because I'm flowing.
Okay, so you just told your story. There's someone that wants to start a podcast, and they admire you. They admire your masterpiece. One of my favorite posts is, "I'm a fan of art, and you're an artist."
Yeah.
So they want to quit. What can you say positive into this camera to keep them motivated to keep going?
Beautiful question. What I would say to that is you have to remember why you started. A lot of times what we do is when we start feeling discouraged, when we start feeling like we're losing the flame, losing the creative spark, as I was speaking about earlier, you understand it's God-given. But this is where I'm getting to, because you got it too, and that's the only way you're able to recognize it is because it is you. But back to this, I say this. You have to remember why you started. If your why is, and I'm sounding cliche because we've heard this from Eric Thomas, we've heard this from Gary Vee, we've heard this from these individuals, but you must remember why you started. What is your why? Why are you starting? Why are you finishing is on the same sentence. So for me, you have to understand the importance of why you started something. Was it for your kids? Was it for your lineage? Was it for your mental health? Was it to get in shape? Whatever it is, remember why you started so that when you drift back, you always remember where your starting point was. And as long as you know where your starting point is at, you'll know where your restarting point is at. So I'll leave you with that one.
I just want to be a fly on the wall and just suck up all your energy. Like, I love it, man. Thank you, brothers. I appreciate you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Make sure y'all follow Unselfish Behavior Podcast. Make sure y'all like, subscribe the video, subscribe on the channel, Unselfish Behavior Podcast on YouTube, all platforms streaming podcasts, and make sure you follow us on Instagram as well at Unselfish Behavior Podcast. And follow your main man, King Q, as well at I am King Q _ yes, I am.
King Q in the building. Thank you, man. Thank you. What team y'all going for? Clap It Up Los Angeles, BTW, or straight out the trunk? Let me know, man. This your girl.
Jami B and Friends Podcast.